Skole ngambulo luku. With whatever we do. Jioni safu nola. With whatever we do. Hale yidemu new school. Nyepamne nekulukula. Nyepangiragala gena. Nyepamne nekulukula. Ibuloke nongoto ni beti sola. Ibuloke dato ni betoto.
Mingi Congo.
Lamin.
Na?
Lamin te jibe norin te nyame Lamin.
Kabona wulo kono.
Wulo kono nyinte mo Lamin.
Pabilenki.
Muna ngata afongole.
Haina.
Ngata. Ngoto le. Fabrama.
Mingi. Baba nyola.
Ngoto le Fabrama.
Namu jumara kan kuma ni ten.
Fabrama.
Jumara mu.
Ndele bare muso.
Lunda mana.
Famo kata.
Jamani mbere.
Alindo ko.
Jamani.
Bari ngoto mon kontande.
Bari jamani fana na mundu ma mon kontan.
Ngoto minaka ngala min je fom filitala. Lamin jibe nori nyala.
Lamin ila siran sama ne benki. Yala so tol sayni no ko ngol ko momo.
Ngoto.
Nam.
Iterinte yalo ne Lamin hakilo diata bake karamungoto. Anu santeng ministry ko di ngole si suo ko amanke ko be holiday
si bitun
Bagona ringa.
ala ni ko kede namo balo
ala ni na ko na karta bulo be damna ala ni je
ngoto
nam
ngoto mon kontan fere
jamani mu ne keda
ite ka Lamin ki wulo ko no nyintay mon ko do fete malo Lamin nyande sila la be la moy kala karango
jamani karamol be soron ne ko fasita wulo ko nako
karamol ma soron ni ko karamol soron da amanke comme holiday lem ngoto dini ngo nyanta sila la ala karango la moy yamen kaben fue man kontan andamande
alla nyin kombo courant adanda la kombo len to la jankara mol le soron daro kabe courant ma daro la kombo e don dol fana na kara mol soron je kara mol soron Lamin adara lo nyino la aman tara fe na sokon ala munekela
ama Lamin ite fete malon ko lesinol be ke kar radio to
Nga fine.
e ko nyani mo Lamin ya muna fonye
kabe mina kan tambita nteri manyin Fatu tambite la sukala ala diningol bebe siri be la moyka
faru danso am fana tambita jele ni subala la ngaje diningol be jet talanta nin kili warol e be seri jele
sa Lamin fadante ku kili wo ke no la ba Lamin bitaka wulo ko no nyinta mo Lamin
aman dara fenela
ite dine ko di man si yakaru la suno la moy radio to balon na
muneka ke afonde ma nyara ni alon
telentel jikot
afonde ma mune be ke
ite balon tel be jikritel ni man karambe ku kele yaje nata karana mbasa malaya ay tarije
par ñarande kombo courant ho findira kombo ide na raje den sonka bay ko Lamin ma nyata la wulo ko karam mo be so da fa nyembe be
ko to wole nati bayo ngalle ni Lamin kuntala kombo courant o ka fa me kombo courant asototal wala kinay ko e si suwo kono bari ni ko e si suwo kono be karangol di ke la radio lin telel to hani tele masoto to nyaay man tele soto la bungo bar radio be bulen koto batiri sanga ay si ay alamo
sa do kala
nyaadi ko ta o bulaji
ado kala nyaadi
kamun ke nyaadi
radio abe wala mo la be mona falaje
ibe la karandirol kala jele
ti talle be radio ko men ka karandirol
il est subjecteur baby jele baby jele
wala nan ka coco moy fa dan so wolya ngom metambi kana ngadi ni wolde be ikadum bungo ko kada maro mo
asototal de
Lamin mala be kara wala de
bari
lafta alal ideal on ko inde every year second wala fourth
muna ni ko di ha ko nde ko folle sinila mba nde le sinlo ne ba
say mba foke en koto wole fango yen wulindi yalo famo keta bat ñu fana bulata ko ko don me yen nati jambi Lamin nyanta karana ndel be jiko be nyineka ya bulay kara wulo kono ta kilar ya bambalo yo be bulaje koto dinni ngoy si ayala le sino la moy radio
wara ka munda kara mo man soro Lamin nyanta kara si so na regular
sila le ayala le sino
ndal ko korna ko smalo
kilar ya
be ngala ko momo say mi do ni ko no kera
mengi bruzo
ndal ko la da ba rosa no radio ba no bari woro radio ni abe jele ba do ngamra do man dembe buljan dala nyara nyara wofra bu ko fendi mo la Lamin tayra ba rosa
bara te ku folo ajibe nori nya Lamin tamete
teku
bari ko do famo ke
ja image nañu ñambol si zol le keje kisgi man si zol no le kafun ka ñowa bari ñambu kino ni mañana ka finde ni nambe ko do la ja
ngalle limbeta de be ñambo do dilanna
ñara nim ko ridin fennat ñara nata
bari famo ke da
ngata bungono tammi bungono ñara ngando ko fele ko ke baru nganda ni pelo la ndija
iyo awa
la bungono bismillah bisu diara
Pendulala ye fongo tanka sina dolu tanka koro korota
Good day, listeners and viewers. I am Samuel Emende. I'm back again with another lesson on excretion. Today, we are going to look at the liver. But before we look at the liver, the last lesson, I gave an assignment. And in the assignment, I said, discuss the function of the skin as an excretory organ. Okay, we said we are going to discuss the function of the skin as an excretory organ. I hope you do your assignment, and here we are about to do the correction. We said, we said the function of the skin. The skin protects the body from an external environment or external stimulus. And what are some of the things, or what are some of the ways in which the skin protects the body from the external stimulus? We said it protects from a touch. When I come near you, or when we are walking and I touch you, you can feel it. If you don't want me to touch you, you withdraw your hand. That means you are responding. But if you still want me to touch you, you can still leave your hand there. So that means you are able to respond to the stimulus of a touch. Another thing also, we say that you are able to respond to pain. When somebody gives a prick or somebody slaps you, you don't still stand there and allow the person to give you another slap. You have to move. That means you are still responding to the external stimulus. Heat, when there is a fire around you, okay, and the fire is hot, you have to move. You don't still stay in that place. You move from the fire. So that's what you said, you are responding to the heat. And when the place is also cold, like you put ice block on the palm of your hand, and this ice block is really, really cold. You don't still leave your hand there, unless and until you want your hand to become stiff. Another point, we said the skin protects the body from dangerous effects of the ultraviolet rays. And we talk about the UV rays. We said these UV rays, sometimes people destroy their melanin, the malpighian layer, where the melanin is located. And when you destroy this melanin, the rays from the sun comes directly to your skin. And the melanin should be the one that's supposed to prevent these things. But it cannot. So later or gradually, you finally develop what you call a skin cancer. And also we said the skin also protects us mechanically. Okay? Like for instance, if somebody wants to stab to your delicate organ or the visceral organs. So some of these visceral organs, they are found in the abdomen or the pelvis or the chest region. And when you want to do that, it is being stopped, like the skin will take the first punch before it reaches to the other organs. So the skin is protecting what? Mechanically. And also bacteria and viruses. The skin, when you don't have a cut, the skin protects you from what? The visitation of what? Bacteria and some invasion of some of these viruses. But when the skin is open, it's cut open, these bacteria and these viruses, they can easily come and live there, and they can cause you ill health. The skin also protects our bodies from excessive loss of water. During strenuous exercise or activities, our body tends to lose a lot of water. So the skin there helps to prevent the loss of excess water. We said the skin also helps in the production of vitamin D. When you are exposed to the sun, or when you are exposed to the sun, the skin helps to produce vitamin D. And also the skin helps to regulate body temperature, how cool or hot, and in the thermoregulation, some of the activities of enzymes in our bodies is being regulated by the skin. And to sum up all, the skin acts as an excretory organ. It serves as an excretory organ. And we said the other part was, let's briefly describe 3 ways in which we can care for our skin. So now, the ways that in which we can care for our skin, we said like the skin color. We should always avoid damaging our skin. like when we are exposing our skin to applying of cosmetic materials or bleaching cosmetic materials. These materials will peel off the top layers of our skin. So that's we need to care for our skin. Another thing is also when we are bathing, we should bath regularly, and also we use sponge. You don't need to use this hard brush. Okay, so we bath regularly to keep our skin in a good shape. And also we said our nails should always be kept short at all times. We should try and keep our nails short at all times. And for those who can care for their hair, you wash it, you treat it, and you comb it gently. But those who cannot, it's better you keep a low cut of your hair, so that you cannot harbor, it will not be a place for a habitat for harboring some of these microorganisms like bacteria, the leech or the lice. All these things, the lice will come and invade there. Avoid shedding of clothes. When you use clothes and they are dirty, you clean them and iron them. That is more preferable. So today we are moving to the liver. Okay, we say the liver is the largest visceral organs of the body. What do you mean by visceral organs? We say these visceral organs, they are found either in the chest, the thoracic, or the pelvis. And these ones, they are internally formed. And in the liver is the largest one. And their cells are called hepatocyte cells. Okay, these cells, they help to supply blood. Two major types of vessels, namely the hepatic artery and the hepatic portal vein. These are the two blood vessels that supplies blood to the liver. The hepatocytes, these are the cells of the liver. So now the hepatic artery brings oxygenated blood to the aorta. That is blood that's having oxygen, it brings it to the aorta. The hepatic portal vein is rich of nutrients. It carries blood that is rich of nutrients from the intestine. So now when you look at the Kupffer cell, these Kupffer cells, they are found also in the liver, and they help in phagocytosis. Like the liver, what it does, it is responsible for production of bile. That is the bile pigment. And in the bile pigment, we have the bilirubin. The bilirubin, it helps in digesting of bacteria and other foreign organisms in the body. Like for instance, this medication that you receive, like when you go to the hospital, like you are sick and you go to the hospital, the medication that you receive, it goes directly to the blood. And then when it goes, like for instance, they give an IV, it goes directly into the blood. And the first place of entry is the liver. It's the liver that helps to act on that component. Like any form of disease that comes inside your bodies, it goes to the liver. So the liver is the first place that helps to digest some of these bacteria and some of these foreign organisms. Okay? We are looking at a general structure of the liver. Here we have from the right going to the left, we have the left hepatic duct. This duct, we said there are two main blood vessels in the liver, the hepatic portal vein and the hepatic artery. We said the artery that brings blood, oxygenated blood to the liver, okay, and the hepatic portal vein takes blood to that. It's rich of nutrients, takes it to the intestine. So now the left hepatic duct, this is the one, it is connected, like you see if you look at the liver, something that looks like reddish, the reddish structure is the liver, and the other part, that green, is the gallbladder. And the gallbladder, it helps in digestion of fats, or we say that emulsification of fats. And in the liver helps in fighting some of these diseases that enters our body. Okay, that's what the liver does. So now if you look at from down here, we have what the left arterial dot, the left hepatic dot. So now this left hepatic dot is contained with bile, and this bile, it moves on to what the other part is the left lobe of the liver. The liver is divided into two. That is the right part and the left lobe. So this one, the small part, is what is the left lobe, and then you have the right hepatic dot, and then you also have what the right liver. We talk about the right and the left liver, and what the gallbladder. We say the gallbladder helps what to emulsify fat. So this is the structure of the liver, and what is the function of it is for what? Excretion, and we said it excretes the bile, emulsify fats. I'm going to look at some of the functions of the liver. We said the liver is responsible for the destruction of the RBCs. You see, the red blood cells, when they enter into the body, they have been attacked. The RBCs is form of what? Hemoglobin, and the liver acts on this hemoglobin. It acts on the hemoglobin and break it into the hem and the globin. The globin, which is the protein component of the blood, is being converted to amino acids, and these amino acids is used by the body. And the hem component, okay, which is being converted to what? To yellow pigment called the bilirubin. The bilirubin, when this bilirubin is being converted, is stored. An accumulation of this bilirubin in the blood produces what? Yellowing of the skin and eyes, and which is a sign of a symptom of the disease of the liver, which is called jaundice. And this time, like for instance, when you see your skin begins to form somewhat yellowish form, so that is a skin disease. And what do you need to do? You have to go to the hospital, and they will look at it, give you the right medication. The disease is called jaundice. But you have to understand that the destruction of the RBCs, it occurs, and when these RBCs has been destroyed, the hemoglobin is broken down into two parts. That is the hem and the globin. The globin, which is the protein component part, is broken down to amino acids and is being used. By the hem, it produces a bile pigment, a green bile pigment, and this green bile pigment is further broken down into what? Bilirubin. This bilirubin, when excess of it is stored in the body, it produces yellowing of the skin and yellowing of the skin and eyes, which is a disease we call jaundice. Also, we also have what we call hexosugars. With hexosugars, we are still talking about the function of the skin. We said hexosugars. Hexosugars, these are 6 carbon sugars, or these are monosaccharides of 6 carbon sugars. And these 6 carbon sugars, they are found in what? In the blood. And we said they are glucose, they are glucose, galactose, and fructose. They are carried in the bloodstream and are absorbed by the liver and converted to what? To glycogen. These hexosugars, like this glucose that we take in, and sometimes they tell us that, eating too much sugar is not good for our system, because we are exposing our bodies to a lot of some situations like what we call diabetes. And this is what is an excretion. Homeostasis is the one that helps to control or to maintain our sugar level in the pancreas. Also, we also say that the liver cells remove lipids from the blood, and then send it to the fat. You see, like if you look at during the process of starvation, when our carbohydrates are finished, like we eat bread, we eat rice, and these things, they produce glucose. And when these carbohydrates are finished, these lipids that is stored in the adipose tissues is being utilized by the cell to produce energy and also to give heat to the body during the process of starvation. So now we also talk about amino acids. The function of the liver, we said amino acid that is arriving to the liver, or that's arriving to the liver via the portal vein, are stored out for protein synthesis. This amino acid, we said amino acid, like when you have the protein, you break it to amino acids. So these are small components of protein, and it's going to be absorbed by the body. And because when this thing is stored in the blood for protein synthesis, this amino acid. So this amino acid is that pass through what via the portal vein are stored out for protein synthesis. The liver is active chemically. What do you mean by is active chemically? Is so that it will produce amount of heat. The heat, it helps it to maintain the body temperature. So during the activities of man, like you are going up and down, so the liver also helps it to regulate the hemostasis of the body. It helps it to regulate the temperature during the results of a lot of enzymatic activities in our bodies. We say the liver is responsible for detoxification of poisonous substances. Like for instance, the drugs that we are given. Like if you are sick, you go to the hospital and you are given a drug, like either paracetamol or Amox. So these types of drugs, the liver is the major organ. That's where it does the detoxification. It makes sure that some of those toxic substances are removed from the blood in the liver. So that's why sometimes people like to eat a lot of, like in the market, you see them, they go around, they want to buy a lot of liver, the people who used to sell liver. Sometimes you don't know the condition in which that animal was before they killed that animal. So sometimes, to be at a good side, if you can refrain yourself from eating some of these liver foods, it will be helpful. Because sometimes some of these animals, when they are sick, the people, if it die, the person will lose everything. So they prefer to kill it before it die, and they'll take the meat and they'll use the meat and sell, so that at least they can generate something from there. But the liver condition of that animal, you don't know. You are eating, and these things can easily affect you. So sometimes you have to be very, very careful. Okay, and also we said the liver also, there are some important hormones or ions that are stored in the blood. Like during the process of the function, when we look at the function of the nephron, we talk about ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption, and hormonal secretion. And during this process, we say some of these important ions are absorbed, are stored in the blood. We said, example like iron, these are some of the important iron and vitamins. They are kept in the blood, like iron, copper, potassium, vitamin A and vitamin C. They are all found in the blood. So before we move on to the hemostasis, I have a question for you, which you are going to take as an assignment. When I come to the next class, we will look at it together. We said, list the excretory product of mammals and indicate where each product is formed. We said, list the excretory product of the mammals and indicate where each product is formed. So this, we talk about excretory organs. That was my first lesson that we talked about. When we started talking about this excretion, we talk about the excretory organs. But this time around, I want us to look at the excretory product of the mammals and indicate where each product is formed. Is that clear? So please, I hope you will take this assignment seriously and the discussion. I just want to brush through the homeostasis. And we said homeostasis is basically to ensure, or it's a process that ensures a constant internal environment. It's a process that ensures a constant internal environment. How is this internal environment control is brought to constant, or this thing is being constant? Internal environment is, we say, the process to ensure the maintenance of a constant internal environment. We bring internal environment as a result of a lot of what? Enzymatic reactions. We said the condition is necessary to ensure a chemical reaction occurs perfectly within acceptable limits. We see, like for instance, if you look at the pH of the body needs to function at a particular pH, or like some of the other substances, some of these other enzymes need to function at a particular pH of the body. The pH, it will help the enzymes whether they are going to perform well or whether they are going to reduce their forms of operation, their forms of activity. Like for instance, if the body is cold, the hormones are going to be triggered. Okay, like in the adipose tissues will try to help to generate a lot of heat for the body. So, but we said most of these chemical activities in the body systems are enzyme controlled. So all these activities, how do I send information to the hypothalamus? Like when you are feeling cold, when you are feeling hot, the hypothalamus is responsible and it will help to regulate this, your body temperature to be at a minimum level. And also, we said homeostasis plays 3 important roles. Or what are the roles that it plays? Regulating the amount of water and mineral salts. The water that is being in the body. When, like for instance, if the sun is hot, your body is the cells of your bodies begin to activities of the cells of the body begin to perform, and the skin, which is the major excretory organ of the body, it will open up, and a lot of water is being released out to the external environment. So, like when the place is cold, the skin will stop the openings of the air spores will be reduced, and then will prevent it from will prevent your skin from losing a lot of water. So that's one of the things that it regulates. And also, as this water is coming out, they come out with a lot of salts. We said, like in the nephron, we said in the loop of Henle, we have the ascending loop and we also have the descending loop. And some of this salt is passed out in the ascending loop. And then also we have what you call the regulation of the blood sugar. The regulation of blood sugar, this one is done by the pancreas. The pancreas will produce an insulin. Like if the sugar in the blood is too much, the pancreas will produce an insulin. Okay, this insulin will reduce the blood sugar. And sometimes some people who has too much blood sugars in their body, they hardly find a way of treating this blood sugar in the body, which is a result to diabetes. So sometimes what they do, they will just try to reduce, to manage the conditions of that patient, to be reducing the blood sugar, and if the blood sugar goes down, they have to increase it. So that is what we're talking about, regulation of the blood sugar in the body. And also another part is regulation of body temperature. So this is what we just discussed, and I hope it is helpful. And you can also read more on this homeostasis. I think these three points I give you, it will help you to have a general understanding about how the body systems or how the homeostasis is done. I was your teacher, Mr. Samuel Mende. Thank you. Until I come your way again.